Hello, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Production House podcast, where I will be chatting with the hidden heroes of dance music culture and the people that are the glue of operations behind the scenes. My name's Stretch, so if you're sitting comfortably, then let me begin. Yes, indeed. I can't even get the intro right. The Production House #1 podcast, Tuesday the 17th of January 2023. Finally, I'm behind a microphone doing a podcast, and it is my honour and a pleasure to have Swag Management's big boss, Jon Swagemakers, inside. Johnny, I've got lots and lots to ask you, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming, sir. So look, you've got artists under your banner. You've got Koen, The Tweakers, Hard Driver, Sub-Zero Project, Warface, Rebellion, and of course now you have the Elite and Tweaker Core. Some people won't know who those people are. Millions of people will. Tell me, how did it all start, and how did you help get these people to where they are?
Well, actually, I realized that this officially is the year that my company exists for 10 years.
Felicitated.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a milestone, but also like 10 years is a long time. I'm really happy. I actually feel that we're not even halfway of what we want to do, so that's a good thing. But at the same time, it just
flies by.
Wow. Yeah. Where we started, actually the first artist that I had the honors to represent as management was Koen. Just for a short while, like a year, I was doing his bookings.
He's from Belgium also, isn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. And then from there, I started my own management agency. Really, it's always fun to look back at that one, because definitely very eager to do the job right, but quite inexperienced back then. But we were ready to take over the world.
Was this 2012, 2013?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That was like when Koen actually signed a label deal with Steve Aoki, Dimmack Records. Okay. His album was going to be released there. It was called Global Dedication. The whole idea was back then, so we're very like focused on the hardstyle or the hard dance music. And that was the time when first, like finally, the world was opening up to this genre that for us was very familiar, but maybe for the rest of the world, not yet really. Dimmack was a very good label to open doors for us into different markets, mainly the United States, and that's where it all kicked off. And we had a lot of shows, touring, and trying to just spread the hardstyle sound as much as possible. That's always been Koen's vision, still until now. He always felt like we're doing this for so many people that really enjoy it or are so into this kind of music, but there's still so many people are unfamiliar with it. So he always felt like the world is so much bigger. We toured a lot, went everywhere, and then after a few years, I signed Hard Driver. That was probably also because back then the office building, everything was in the same space. So the label Dirty Works, the guys were all signed to that label, was there. There were studios at the same place, and then also the Tweakers joined. I think like after 3, 4, 5 years, we had like 4 or 5 acts, and again like just especially doing what we love to do. But time flew by really fast, and great things that we've done. And now the team, like Koen from Belgium, the Tweakers are duo from Norway, then Rebellion are 2 guys from Scotland, Sub-Zero Project, 2 Dutch guys, Warface, Dutch, Hard Driver, Dutch guy, living in Belgium, but all within like an hour drive from each other, so yeah. And
the way 2000... Would I be right in saying 2014 was when it really kind of exploded in America?
Yeah.
Especially for you, for your sound.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's
always...
dedicated
stages at festivals started to pop up and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a few moments where like we would get a slot on like just to introduce hardstyle. Actually, it was picked up really well, but like you said, then they were getting like the dedicated stages where that was the big test, because at the same time, if people weren't going to show up, there was not much demand. But that was happening more and more. So we, I remember, for example, Tomorrow World in Atlanta. And actually, That was a really good one.
That was massive. I remember that.
That was huge. And remember the venue was unbelievable. That was a beautiful place.
And you was just over that hill in its own separate area, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted to say, is that it wasn't like even the stage wasn't really in a position that you would always find it. You actually had to like climb the hill, and then that was like the dedicated hardstyle stage. Yeah. That was successful. And yeah, that was like, what was it, 2014, 2015, I think, yeah. And then, of course, EDC Vegas.
Did you get your own, they gave you your dedicated stage there as well?
Yeah, so there was 1 year. The first year that was introduced was a dedicated Q-dance stage. That was huge. And then in the following years, it kind of like died off for a little bit. And then EDC started to have their own hard dance brand, Basscon. With their own stage, and I think that one, they are really, really like leading now when it comes to the hardstyle in the United States. That actually in the last 5-6 years has really been shaping.
They do a lot of half tempo though with that, don't they?
Yeah, it's really like, it's a bit of a crossover and stuff, and that's really good. So yeah, all my guys play there like every year. And then there's even like now like dedicated hard ticket shows in Los Angeles and stuff. So yeah, the United States is in definitely the last 3-4 years has been really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So how would you describe your job? What's your job description? If you call it a job.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. So definitely my job is different per act. But in general, in rough lines, it's definitely getting the most out of this specific career or artist / brand. Brand is always a bit of a, yeah.
It has to be used.
Yeah, but
take a word, right?
In a respectful way, the brand to act. We're trying to build a strategy around the artist, so mainly to accomplish their goals. It sounds really cheesy, but more or less every act really desires to expand their sound by performing worldwide stages. Doesn't matter if it's big or small stages. All acts that we represent definitely want to play for a dedicated crowd. Yeah. So if there's 10,000 people and only 100 are enjoying it, that was not a good show. So yeah, and when it comes to that, we kind of like take away the business side of the artist. Yeah, so all of the guys are also like independent producers next to performing. So the marketing we take on, we come up with like concepts, ideas to zoom in on the brand, and then try to like bring it over to the fans and expand and grow that following. Because in the end, the popularity is a must to grow the career. Because in the end, that's also going to push promoters to book the acts, and yeah, that's what we do. And the day always looks different. And again, some acts desire more management on like the creative level, where the others are more like strategic or business. Just depends. But it's more that we're colleagues.
Yeah. Business partners.
Business partners, where everybody just does where they're.
I think modern management companies have to accept that that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because, it's like how football's turned recently. Like the player is king. The player tells, where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And that's really how it should be for every artist, shouldn't it? Obviously you don't want to be working with bossy, horrible little gits. But, in schooling these people, it allows less stress, especially in the modern world of lots of discussions about mental health. I understand the pressures, you understand the pressures, but a young 22-year-old, 21-year-old gets his first performance on a stage for, let's say, 5,000 people.
That's a lot.
It can turn them into something which they're not really aware of for some, if they've not got the right people around them, the right management around them. Did you come across that early, especially with yourself sort of going into that world? It's... you're asked for riders, what you want on your rider, etc., etc., etc. Did you ever feel at one point that like I'm the big I am, or you kind of knew I need to be cool about this and I need to be cool, calm, and collected about this?
I think in my situation, I think we're lucky that the career didn't explode overnight.
Yeah.
Because then even people would say like, I'm not going to change and blah, blah, blah. If it goes really fast, you will, you will looking back and like, oh shit. Like, for us, we really, I think the company on its own, and then also the artist, they all kind of grew in a very sustainable way. A lot of hard work was put into it first before we were ready to sow. Instead of like, and that also makes you. I think that allows you to smooth into the success, and then again, you will always say like, the artist like, this guy will never change. But there's sometimes so much happening that it can change. And like, I think stress is one of the main things. They're all working so hard, and you say yes to all the gigs, and you come to a point where you want it to be, and all of a sudden you're there, and you're like, wow, and now so much is happening. Bear in mind, especially the touring, normally 3 to 6 months ahead we would book the shows. If you're going to find out halfway that it's getting a bit too much or the traveling is too intense, the agenda is set, you know? And I've always told my guys is that even the shows when they're confirmed, if you feel it's too much, we're not doing them.
Yeah.
Because that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they know they have that safety card basically, and that already takes away a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I think the main thing. The biggest jump that we've made is that luckily all the guys are financially in a position where we can travel a bit more comfortable, which is very important.
It's always nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy for people to say, oh, it's like, oh, yeah, do you really need that car to go from the hotel to the show, or do you really need to fly that airline, sometimes even business class? It looks like it's a luxury thing.
But it's not, it's essential.
Yeah, it's comfort/health.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I think in the good times, in the success, all the guys of our team did really well. We talk a lot. They're very down to earth. It was more during COVID that we didn't really know what was happening to us.
That leads me on to the next question. Actually, is mad.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to go into the subjects of the what's and whys and whens it happened, but that was when we first met, of course.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of. I think the intro to the video even has me throwing the hammer at Boris Johnson, declaring that they were locking everything down.
That was a good throw.
You soldiered on better than anybody I know in that whole industry, mate. I was so impressed of just your drive, where you wanted to go, how responsible you felt for all of your eyes, knowing that shit was hitting the fan left, right and centre. Obviously, you're engaged now to your girlfriend, your fiancée.
Thank you.
She must have been a big help, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, as a man, I remember my frustrations at the world, you know, but realised that actually I can't control that. Let me just get into my own little bubble and not worry too much about things. How did you take on those 2 years? One for yourself, and the other one for the rest of your team.
Well, first of all, I'm happy to hear that I made the impression that I, you know, soldiered through it. But I must say, like, obviously, definitely, we took the responsibility. Like, right. We're going to make the best out of it, but we really didn't know what was going to happen or what was ahead of us.
The uncertainty was
uncertain. Yeah, this was a situation that was new for everyone, and we were so used to doing everything in favor for the artist. The success of the artist goes together with the success of the agency. It's just like I said, we're partners, you know, and. I found the start of COVID really difficult, and I wasn't. This is something like everyone was unfamiliar with. This is never going to happen again.
No,
but if I could go back in time, there was a lot of things that I would have done differently because I was very. It was really quite difficult, and every artist also individually dealt with it differently.
Yeah.
And we're going to look after the acts, but at the same time, was your own company was also a bit like struggling. We came up with all these really great ideas. We're going to do this, and that, and then you know how it went. Like, okay, but then that's not possible. All right, new idea, that's not possible. So it was kind of ups and downs. The first 6 months, I would definitely say, was quite difficult. The good thing was, for sure, it was the big test. Are we doing do we have the job that we love? Because if you didn't like it, that was really the moment to leave.
Yeah.
And I realized after almost 10 years then, it's my passion.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot easier to follow through. But luckily, after half a year into that time, we kind of more found like a way to work through it. It was quite turbulent. And then you would take, the stress back home, which wasn't really helping, So yeah, I think I worried a bit too much in the beginning. But then I think
hindsight's fantastic, isn't it?
And then again, talking about it again, I think it's still more recognizing that. Looking back is very easy, especially in this situation. I can say my company was saved by the fact that my artists are really good people.
Yeah.
Because if they were really like artists, as some can be, it could have been much more difficult.
Yeah.
Everybody looked after each other within the team. I can understand from the artist's point of view that it also could be like, I'm going to lean on management now. The expectations are still there. But yeah, it was a very difficult situation to create business success. And I'm really happy that we had that legacy and we knew who we were dealing with. And everybody kind of like was in a different state. Was quite some stress. So I've also told the guys, like, I'm very appreciative for also allowing our company to realize what is happening. If you survive this as a team, after that it becomes really easy. And that was actually the good thing. When the doors opened again and we were allowed to do what we wanted to do, we actually looked in each other's eyes like, all right,
take over.
Wow.
Yeah.
We never took for granted what we did. Never, ever. But it was a rebirth.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
And so, like you say, like looking back, are you proud of yourself?
I'm proud of the team. I was really like, again, it was not management or it was not one person everybody did the same. So I'm really proud of the team. On a personal level, I had a lot of time to reflect. If I would hear myself saying this 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, like, all right. No, but really there was a lot of time to reflect. And for me, it has changed a lot. And it's going to be really helpful for now and in the future with how we deal with things on a personal level, on a business level. But we're unstoppable now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I see that.
We're not going anywhere.
I see that. Well, I mean, speaking of that, Sub-Zero projects obviously have gone absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
The boys are now obviously getting knocks on the door from some of the biggest producers or artists in the world. I remember speaking to the boys, one of the boys' mum at Tomorrowland, say, like, you have to be careful now because all of these lunatics are all going to be coming in.
Yeah.
Is that happening? Are you seeing that starting? Because I made the track with Mal P, for instance.
Yeah.
And then Tiesto did a thing to let everybody know that it was me on The Voice. I got hundreds of requests from, not going to name names, from loads of people.
There you
just
go.
all of a sudden wanting to work with me now.
The
because
honey.
This is, yeah. So do you see that coming in now, especially with Koen and with the Sub-Zero project? Obviously, all the boys are fantastic producers. Do you see that coming in a lot now? That crossover wanting to happen? Because I remember Headhunters did that a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was, everyone wanted to work with him.
In the picture. And the again, like, it's kind of similar to the previous question, like, how do the guys deal with the success and yada. Quite like a while ago, Hardstyle was really something that was a bit, people, if you're not in the scene, people kind of stayed away from it. when it started to become a bit more attractive and popular outside the hardstyle community, then like other artists were showing interest. And the thing is that I think it kind of depends who it involves. Sub-Zero project, the guys really don't think in big artists, small artists. They're so music-minded.
They just want to make good music.
Yeah, and yes, a lot of people are like, we should be doing something together, which is really great, because I think when they show interest in them, it's very much for the music quality, more of the popularity. But they're not impressed. As a matter of fact, I wish they were a bit more impressed. Sometimes I take the opportunity to scroll through their DMs, and not to be nosy, but just to make sure that fans like sometimes also get like answers and like questions or whatever. They are really good with it, but the boys are also sometimes very busy with what they're doing. Yeah. And that PR side, they just want to make sure what's happening in the inbox. And also, without mentioning any names, sometimes you see big artists sending a DM into their Instagram like, hey guys, I love what you're doing. Would it be something to go in the studio together? Yeah. And if you then don't reply, not out of arrogance, but just like, I think that says a lot. So there's a lot of people asking them to work with, and there's also a lot of music coming out, but they're definitely they have both feet on the ground. Yeah. And that's, I think it's also what really makes them who they are. You know them; they're very down to earth.
All of you guys are, though.
Yeah.
To be fair, that the first wave of the harder dance, they were all the lunatics.
Yeah.
You know, that generation. We were all boozers and drug takers.
Yeah.
But this generation, I don't see that at all. At all. There might be one or two nutters that pick their moments, which is only fair for young people to explore what they want to do. But I see that a lot. And most of the Dutch guys are all really, really down to earth.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that always the funniest thing is then when, for example, my friends or family, when we're somewhere and they get to meet one of the artists that we represent, in a good way, they're always a bit disappointed.
Yeah, because they're expecting this.
Yeah, they're so normal.
Rock and roll style,
yeah, they're so normal. Yeah. And especially this generation, absolutely. And then very down to earth, professional. Don't get me wrong, they love to party, but very ambitious and passionate with what they do. During the week, they're making music, and that's the cool thing, is that you can have a normal chat with them, like any time of the week. But once they're on stage, they hit the play button, and then the artist comes alive. But in between, they're really and it's funny because people that are not familiar with hardstyle, I can imagine how they probably have a bit of that. They put that stigma on us, as in like it must be really rock and roll and all that crazy and stuff. It's not boring. Definitely not.
No, it's definitely not.
I mean, I think the Tweakers are a really good example that they keep the party going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Tweakers.
Yeah.
I think they're Jägermeister's best customers, aren't they?
Yeah. They imagine they had a dry January, then Jägermeister stock with like
Definitely plummet.
Yeah.
Definitely plummet.
Also very persuasive with that. But yeah, they are. Yeah, that's definitely. A core element of the act is that they do like a good party.
Well, let's talk about so the Elite.
Yeah,
this is new, right?
Yeah. So the Elite was something that, if I say right, 3 or 4 years ago, we decided to make a group of artists together. So it's boy band. Koen, the Tweakers, and Hard Driver.
Wow.
Close friends, family on the label. So it kind of made sense. And they work so much together. I was like, you know what? Let's do something as a group to make music and etc. And yeah, I mean, for the connection, in the end, the connection is essential to make great music. So it only made sense to do something like that. And when we dropped the idea, they were all on board. Then we dropped an album last year, which was really cool because and they're all ambitious. And when there's you know how it goes, like these guys are always open for new ideas, but at the same time they're super busy with their individual careers, right? So this was going to be, I hate to say it, but a side project, but at the same time you want to do it right, so it required attention and time. So we came up with the idea that in last October, this is October 20.
Yeah, I'm the same. We're 2023 now.
So yeah, but that would be 21.
Yeah.
October 21. We went to Scotland for a writers' camp in the middle of nowhere, no distractions, and then all the guys together, and in less than a week time, they wrote a complete album. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think it's
the best work.
Wow, it's really impressive. I think it's also really cool to hear that.
What's the name of the album?
The Legends of the Elite.
Legends of the Elite. And
I think it's really cool to also hear that it's a proper blend of their sounds together, and it's a nice album. And then they premiered the show in March in Reverse in Sportpaleis in Antwerp.
And
that was a good success. Yeah, that was awesome. Also, that writers camp in general. So that's October 21. Was good to have everyone together, a team, like making music, and that was a bit of the last phase of the whole.
It was sort of starting to.
Yeah, and we felt that the doors were gonna open sooner or later, and that was really good to see. Everybody got really creative. The music was just like going like that. Yeah. So the Elite made an album there, but also Sub-Zero Project, same thing.
And the Tweaker Core.
Yeah, Tweaker Core. So that's
obviously.
Yeah, that's
the harder, faster than they normally play, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's actually like.
Can you go harder and faster though? Still.
UK hardcore. So so that's something like Tweaker Core is like 160, 170 BPM. Okay. Definitely UK hardcore based sound. That's it. It's a project of the Tweakers. That's their second act basically. They do a lot of things together with Darren Styles. They're close friends. They love his music. I mean, Darren Styles, he's a legend. So that's something like they do next to the Tweakers. But again, they're so busy with the focus is so much on their own act. And I mean,
are they the busiest on your roster?
Yeah. Depends how you look at it, but they keep themselves really busy.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, their live stream is legendary now as well, isn't it? The one that got them through the.
That's the best example.
Yeah.
That came to life during COVID because they wanted to stay connected with the fans, and they put so much into it. And the live stream, the feedback was awesome. Like the fans loved it. Like how nice is it during COVID?
Got insane viewers, didn't they? Got insane numbers.
Yeah. It's really, and I mean they're entertainers also. It's fun to watch.
Like, so much fun.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But I'm really impressed because I mean the agenda is back on 150%, and they're still keeping the stream alive. In between touring worldwide, music is still happening. I think Marcus and Kent, the Tweakers,
still being drunk.
Oh man, unbelievable!
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think I did something with them in August. They came on, they closed the stage, and they got through the one bottle, the two of them. That's the liter bottle that they get.
I think that wasn't that a show in Germany? Electrosize in Germany.
Electrosize.
Yeah.
And it's true, they are very. But I've learned to say no to them.
People ask me like, do they take all the shots? But I'll tell you, when they finish the bottle of Jägermeister and there's not a second bottle ready, that's the only time when they can get a bit like.
Yeah,
it's good.
But they have a moment as well in the.
Oh yeah, it's a whole ceremony. How can you say no to that?
Right, it's a whole ceremony.
Yeah.
It's a whole ceremony.
Yeah, it's really it's really a thing within the act. They're party starters. They're really, really fun to hang out with. They're funny, very genuine. But
and amazing producers, of course.
Their formula is just, it works so well because their studio is occupied 24/7 because Marcus
Hart is in there with them, isn't it?
No.
There's a few people that sort of centered themselves around the area where they record, right? The new building, that's an independent building, it's just for the Tweakers, but they have their recording studio in there and like video guys and stuff, but it has become a hub for producers to go and hang out.
Yeah, because it has a bar and everything, and of course there's like a cold Jaeger tap that's constantly, I know. But Marcus would be producing during the day, and then Kent arrives at the end of the afternoon and would produced during the night, so the lights are on 24/7, and it works. I mean, the music is amazing, and the people love it. And then every weekend they'll be like everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
I have a lot of respect for them, and also again, like the fans love them for their enthusiasm and energy. It doesn't matter where they would play, big stage, small stage, you will always get the full Tweakers experience, and it's very genuine. So,
and they're main stage stalwarts now, aren't they? I mean, there's not a festival that won't have them on the main stage.
No.
Were they were the first hardstyle acts on Tomorrowland main?
Koen was 2 years before. The first hardstyle.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Koen
was the first hardstyle act to play in the main stage Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
That was a milestone.
Momentous, yeah.
Because.
Sorry, Koen, I forgot about that.
Hey.
And Belgium's very own as well. Yeah, time. I keep moving forward. That's right. I forget to look back anymore.
I'll deal with him after the show.
Yeah, it will.
That was funny because already in the super early stage that Koen and I started working together, he always said, like, I'm going to play hardstyle on the main stage of Tomorrowland. And the last thing you want to be as a manager is the one saying, like, I think that's a bridge too far. Like, that's very ambitious. He really stuck to that plan. And I mean, along the way,
never once doubted him.
No, and I think it was really. I remember the moment when the people of Tomorrowland told him, like, I think next year we're going to do it. That was really a moment for him because, like, he was very, very, like, focused and determined to do that, and that was a really big moment for Hardstyle in general.
Story of Panaxis, 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, Koen.
That was a big celebration, and then the Tweakers were the second Hardstyle act to play there. And I hope
completely different show, though, isn't it?
Totally different.
Completely different show. Yeah.
Koen really played a set representing hardstyle. I think for everyone, like, he was like, I have the honor to do it. So he was involving, like, also music from colleague artists. He was actually checking in with colleagues, saying, like, hey, if I'm going to be
dub plates,
so how would you be do you want me to represent our scene on this stage? And it was really good. It was fun. And then the Tweakers, they completely took over with their madness. I mean, it was madness within madness. I mean, those are really, like, good moments to look back to.
So, you're 10 years this year.
Yeah.
What decade was you born? I won't ask you what year you was born. What decade was you born? You was born in the 90s, isn't it? Or the late 80s?
I'm from 85.
85. See, 85. Yeah. So, the last 10 years, obviously the best is yet to come. I know that for a fact. And we forget the 2 years of madness. Would you say that 2022 was probably the best year for harder dance than ever before? From your point of view?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. I came with this really cringy line when we just went to lockdown. We sent cards to all relations and artists within our scene.
I got one.
Yeah, with the USB stick and then, like, mixes of the guys on it, and, like, a personal speech saying, like, hey, and the quote was, hard times never last, but hard dance will.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that a cringe line? I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
No cringe there.
Yeah. Thanks, just for double checking. And when all this happened, not just artists or managers or anyone involved in the scene, booking agencies, everybody was getting the hit. But I think it was also a test, like, how much, like, are you into this, right? And the feedback, the blessing for our scene is the fans. They're so dedicated.
Yeah, they are.
They stayed where any form of communication that was still there, they were louder than ever. Like, it's unbelievable. And, like, seriously, like, we're a big scene, but we're still quite niche. But all of a sudden, we became the biggest and the loudest, and I know it was such a good fuel for the artist because they felt really, like, supported all along. The merchandise sales, they went up.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot. And then I knew for a fact that when we were going to be able to play and tour worldwide again, it was gonna explode, because people are like, it's just like literally where people were like, if you have a dog in your car, you're driving to the forest for a walk.
The dog's going,
yeah. You open the door, it's like it's gonna run, and that's really how it felt. So all these shows where we came back, like the feedback was just huge, and also all the artists kept delivering music. Like they kept feeding, staying connected. And I mean, I know everybody probably did what they wanted to do with their intention, but I'm pretty sure that the Hardstyle scene did a really good job. And this is for us, 2022 was definitely a big year, and I think it set the stone for the next 3 years. Yeah. And I already know it's going to happen, of course, because I can see what's in the agenda. 2023 is going to be a very successful follow-up of a very big 2022.
Kind of a breakout year, then,
yeah.
Say. Yeah. Speaking of which, not a lot of people know that you're actually a songwriter as well.
I wouldn't call myself that.
Well, no, let's be fair. I mean, you wrote the lyrics to the one that you got me performing on.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that project, by the way.
How many songs have you written? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think now probably 30 or 35 that has been released. Don't know if there's any really good ones. No, it's kidding.
Because I'm not. It's not fair to say I'm not a fan of Hardstyle, but I don't go and dance to Hardstyle.
No, I get that.
I go in and hang in a room for 10 minutes, go and see some of the boys. You know what I mean? It's not my thing. But what I love is how music brings people together. It doesn't matter what kind of music. And that's what I'm saying. The songs that you've written, right? The lines are never forgotten in Hardstyle. There's probably millions of tracks that have been made now, but you can be sure at least 10 people know every single word to that track. Hardstyle's always been like that. It doesn't matter how old you play it. If you put it on the whole place, if you're in a Drie Sisters or a bar and a festival, everybody sings to these songs. For me, there's nothing better than seeing other people word back to you the songs. Do you ever pay attention to that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's very much a two-way thing. I would never go into a room like I have to write a song now. It comes, if there's an idea, it could be the most random moment, always write it down, because if you like, I'll remember later, it just disappears.
Tell me about it.
But I found out I cannot write songs outside the Hardstyle scene. And why is that? It's not because I love basically like any I love everything. But writing lyrics for the Hardstyle is really a two-way thing, because you get so much input from the fans and what the scene is about, that it really is easy to come up with themes that connect and what people like to, think about, or
you've got a knack for that, of course.
Every lyric that at least that I wrote by myself or with other people and together with the artist, there's always something that fans can relate to, and that makes it a lot easier, catchier. And of course, there's a few tracks. There's one a track of Sub-Zero project, Trip to Mars. I mean, the idea is when I wrote it, I was like, I like this a lot. And then my girlfriend's like, what is it about? And I'm like, oh shit, it really got really awkward. But now, it did really well. And it's one of those tracks, if the fader is down, people sing along. But you need a crowd also that's open to it. Yeah. And you get that in Hardstyle, though. Yeah. But I can also very much understand that people are not really into Hardstyle, like, really? But I think, it's just like, it's a connection you make, and
it's like you said earlier, it's still sort of seen as a niche.
Yeah.
Niche sound, but it's not, is it? And I've always said Nederland is a Hardstyle nation.
100%. And niche always has the bit of the stigma that people think that it's smaller.
Yeah. And it's not.
No, it's just very it's huge. It's just very intimate. Hardstyle fans, they don't go for one party in a year because like, hey, let's like go with friends to a festival if the sun is shining, and no, it's like don't care what the weather is. If it's going to be pissing rain, we're still going to go to that festival, and a week later that one and that one and that one. So many people have made friends on these festivals. We always see the same faces back, and Holland is, of course, it's where it all started. It's huge, but we're worldwide now, and it's that's why people sometimes think it's a niche, but it's more a cult.
Yeah, it could be termed like that. Yeah.
And that's nothing.
It's its own culture. It's its own culture. Let's be fair. There's not a day go by where I'm sort of on the street and I hear, like
especially in the area where we are now.
I know the kicks and ties low.
It's really funny, and if I can give just a practical example. My fiancée, she's Scottish, and when she moved to the Netherlands, we live in the south in Eindhoven, and she went to her hairdresser, and she was asking, what brings a Scottish girl to Eindhoven? She's like, my partner lives here, yada yada. Okay, what does he do for a living? He works with DJs, and that's always like the one, like when you say, it's always interesting. Like, oh really? It's like, who does he work with? And she, in a in a very respectful way, it's like, you probably won't know it because it's like quite like,
But of course, everybody does.
And then it's like, it's like it's this sound is like, it's really cool, but it's called hardstyle. And then it's like,
eyes wide open. Who are they?
Which names? And then she starts going names like, oh my god, and then like. It's like, it's not cool to represent Armin van Buuren in the South, I'll tell you that, man. With all the respect, because he's a legend. But like, and that's so funny is that, if I go to the local supermarket and there's like a car driving by, it's always 150 BPMs, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And it's definitely that this is the foundation is in Holland. It all started in Amsterdam area, but right now the festivals, it's for a reason that there's many in the south, and then of course Belgium is huge, Germany is huge, and it's expanding more and more. Niche, no, it's just like
it's not fair
very
to say that anymore.
Big group of people that only like this, and they can't get enough of it.
Yeah, indeed. And so you obviously work closely with Dirty Works. Are you partners with Dirty Works? Is that under your? It's
very close friends. Yeah. I understand why something.
What's their streaming numbers been like? Do you pay attention to that?
Well,
I guess you have to, don't you, for your eyes?
No, it's like out of interest, not out of a source of income. No, but like the stream, the streams have done really well. They are definitely, I can say this. These are facts. They are definitely the biggest hardstyle label, and streaming numbers. Wow, I think averagely like a good track would do between like 10 or 15 million at least. Wow. Averagely per song, and then there's always like some that do 5, some go up to 35, 40 million streams. Dirty Works is a very special label because,
everybody knows it. Isn't it?
Everybody knows it, and with all the respect, you've been around for a long time, but there was this always a really bit of a label managers didn't have a really good name back in the days because they, the deals could have been really like bad for artists, etc. Dirty Works is a family label, and there's a reason why all these people are still, after 10 years, releasing there, because they just offer a platform with full creative freedom.
And transparency.
And transparency. In the end, right now, the way that streaming and everything works, transparency, like you can basically see anything. But they've created this very safe and creative and friendly atmosphere. I think that has attracted a lot of talent and allowed them to evolve as an artist. And all of my guys, they released their music there, and we're happy, And it's a really good way of working with them. And at the same time, if we feel there's a track that suits a different label better, that's fair. And then we do it somewhere else.
They're cool with that as well, obviously.
Oh yeah. We do stuff with spinning. We do stuff with rave culture, and of course we do a lot with Timmy Trumpet, with this label within Spinning Symphony Records, and it's important because the music is the output, and if we're gonna keep releasing it on the same label, it sometimes also stops you from expanding. You know, you wanna be, you know, releasing elsewhere to also reach different audiences, and you know, but it's good. I'm really happy working with Dirty Works. We actually it was 15 years Dirty Works last year.
You had the party at the end of last, or you had the world tour.
World tour. Yeah,
last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we had
you had a big, and you had a big one at the ADA, didn't you?
Yeah. Also, that was fun. Yeah. So I think we had like
that was 12,000 in there or not?
No, the one in ADE was in Club Air. But we kicked off at Ultra Miami, which is funny because that was also the first time they booked Hardstyle. Yeah. And then we had a dedicated stage, and it was hosted by Dirty Works. It's the beginning of the tour. And
how did that go, actually?
That was really good. Yeah. That was really one that was like the big test, like how is this going to be picked up? The West Coast of the United States, Hardstyle is really it's really popular, and
California sort of.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And then the East Coast is a totally different thing, and so it's like, and definitely Miami is very known for commercial dance music. And another thing that was a bit of a challenge is that we know there's fans in Florida or on the East Coast of the United States, but all the tickets were sold already because it was postponed. And then after they announced these acts, so if there were dedicated fans that didn't have a ticket yet, they couldn't buy one. So it was a bit like we had to...
It's a bit of a scramble.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of people... I mean, I was front row. Had a great time. It was a good success. We're going back in March again, so I think that says enough.
Again with a dedicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dirty Works will be hosting again.
Again, yeah. I mean, you did a good job if they allow you to come back. Yeah. We behaved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good that you behaved.
Are you going to be around?
No, I don't do Ultra.
No, but like just in Miami in general?
No. I'm not a fan of America, to be fair.
Is this the part where you just start cutting? Because we're actually working on a few visas right now.
It's a personal thing. Listen, I wanted to sort of put you on the spot for a couple.
I think I just put you on the spot there.
Well, yeah, you did, but that's all right. That's all right.
Your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah, you was at the gym this morning, so you're kind of are you a sports fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here's a quiz.
I've got to ask you that. Who's your football team?
Dutch team?
Yeah.
PSV.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes sense. English team. Because you got your or Scottish team.
Should we save this question for the end? Or are we just gonna? Is this gonna?
You're not allowed to give it.
Probably start the outro now. Manchester United.
Okay, yeah.
But that's all the credits go to Ruud van Nistelrooy.
We got you next week.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Yeah.
We got you.
If we beat you next week, we'll be 11 points clear.
Yeah.
No, it'd be 10 points clear. This is really bad. Outside of Hardstyle, I'll say this outside of Hardstyle. Who's your favourite DJ?
Ironically, I just gave the example like it's not cool to represent Armin van Buuren, but it's very cool to listen to Armin van Buuren. I would say as a DJ, Armin.
Would you buy a ticket to his concert? I mean, you'd probably get an invite, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, and that's probably because you never know. He always... I know something happens when he plays. His sets, I think they're always special. And then I really used to be a big fan of the Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah.
There's so many good DJs, but Armin definitely. Yeah.
Always faithful to the Dutch. What's your favourite food to eat? Best cuisine, favourite cuisine?
Thai.
Yeah. Okay. Any particular dish gets you?
Pad Thai.
Okay.
But also like specifically one Thai restaurant in Eindhoven.
Okay.
Maybe this is a good moment. Yeah. Salad Thai.
Salad Thai.
Yeah. They're probably not going to give me free food because I'm their biggest client. And big fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Favourite holiday spot? You're just back from
it's always just
back from Australia and New Zealand, right?
Yeah. It's always just one answer questions, right? Then I'll have to say, because we just came back from Australia and New Zealand, there was a bit, I would say, now New Zealand.
Yeah,
it's more remote. I think it's just for what we do with work. It's just, if you really want to take time off and disconnect, New Zealand.
It's almost the furthest place in the world to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the hobbits live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually really close to Hobbiton. Yeah. This is also where I engaged, speaking of the rings.
Yeah. Oh, is that where you found it?
Yeah.
But you'd already planned it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Favourite thing to do when not working? It's going to be baby
golf.
It's going to be baby making.
It's like, but you need 2 people.
Golf? Really?
Yeah, man.
You're a golfer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you look surprised.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I didn't see you as an elitist.
No, it's like, but then I want to correct. I'm definitely not that. I'm that guy that Yeah. It's like no, like I really enjoy golf.
You got your own set of golf clubs and stuff.
Oh, I'm a fanatic golf player.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Scotland, there's another reason you must go to Scotland, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the main reason.
No.
It's like I'm always there for the in-laws.
Family first.
But I bring my golf clubs just in case if the sun shines in the UK, which is not very rare.
It's not.
No, definitely golf is for me something I love to do outside work.
Have you got a handicap already?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the world?
My handicap. I work with DJs.
That's a good answer. Good answer. Is there a place you'd love to visit that you haven't visited yet?
With our work, we've been everywhere, but also at the same time only know the airports.
Hotels, club, boom.
Exactly. Definitely, I would love to spend more time in Mexico, because Mexico City, we've been a few times, and I really like the vibe, the food, the people. And then I know, like, outside the city, there's a lot more to see.
Everyone's in Tulum right now as well.
Yeah, but I think, I say it in a respectful way, but if I see what's happening there and who's going there for which reason, I think it's already getting a bit like too
over
yeah,
top commercial.
So when I go on holiday, I really like being
away from everything.
Yeah, and outside, like nature and hikes and stuff.
I'm finishing your sentences.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Is it?
Are you sure you want to marry?
I like that. Maybe I ignored that question on purpose.
Silly question, really. Like, what do you listen to in the car?
Hardstyle.
Yeah, I know. So it's a silly question.
But it's funny that you find that that you're not surprised, because so many people are like, oh man, like you have to listen to
the best place to listen to music. I think.
I like
you hear everything.
I sometimes get in the car for like
not get out of it.
Yeah, and just driving and listening. I think it's good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I love that.
Yeah, it's not good for the speeding
what's
tickets.
Currently on? What you got currently in? And you don't have CDs anymore, do you?
No.
What's the current number one on your playlist? Go on, spit it out. Latest release.
No, but the thing is, I want to spit it out but I need to make sure I say it right. Hypaton. He's gonna hate me for saying this. This is not a hardstyle DJ.
Right.
This is a guy that plays a bit more like very hard trance techno-ish stuff. I picked him up from one of Armin's podcasts. It would be really nice if I spelled his name now right, but I really like that.
Yeah.
I try to really listen to other stuff, obviously next to hardstyle, and I thought this would never happen, but honestly, for the first time. And I really never thought this would happen. I fell for techno. And it happened at Tomorrowland.
Okay, are you listening to
Amelie Lance?
Yeah, she likes the hard edge stuff.
Yeah, probably the techno, the really dedicated techno fans were like, but like we walked into
banging.
Yeah, and it was man, really good energy.
It's up there as well, when it's about 140 BPM.
And sometimes even up. So that's what I'm listening to. But the number one right now, my Spotify. So I just try to not stick too much to one song.
Yeah. Shout out to Emily Lenz.
Yes.
Ultimately, another couple of questions. How do you see your future? Obviously married.
Yeah.
2 kids, retired, living on a beach somewhere.
Yeah. That's it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But to get there, no, really like that. At the same time, very much realizing the freedom that we have without kids. So I'm definitely gonna make as much, time
together.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to do what I do now with work, as long as possible. I do realize it's something that the more you age, I mean, I'm still young, but we're doing our work pretty right by the fact that we can so much connect to the audience. And I mean, there's now like averagely 15 years in between me and the people that go to our shows. So the future on the business level, expand the company, hiring younger people. I definitely want to stay on the creative marketing side because I enjoy that, and like the things also what we did together, like those video clips, the scripts, etc. I really like it, and marketing strategies and all that stuff. And yeah, like on the private level, a family in the future. It sounds it's something I always wanted.
Do you think you'll be an Eindhovenaar forever?
It sounds like I'm.
Is that right? Would you say?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Almost sounds like I fear to leave my village because Eindhoven is, I mean, it's a city on the map, but it's really a village if you live here. But with work, we travel everywhere, so then also you kind of get to compare. It's a good place to live, and I think it's also a really good place to have a family.
100%.
The goal is to set up the business in a way that at least when we have a family that we are allowed to travel, because there's so much beautiful things to see. I mean, I love visiting Scotland because I mean it's a beautiful country. Yeah. I could not live there. So yeah, I think
that you had a helicopter maybe or something.
Yeah. The hub will be the Netherlands for sure.
Yeah,
I think so. And it's at the same time for work, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But it's that would never stop me from going anywhere else. But
so you probably won't ever retire either, will you?
No, I hope not.
No.
I think it's really nice that you can say that you hope you will never really retire because...
you know what I mean. You'll always be doing something with music forever,
I think... Yeah, and then, I mean, I could not think of life without music. The last thing
There's no life without music.
No, there's... No, fair enough. I've got to make sure that I don't stay in the business where I'm going to be really old and people think, like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe people are already saying it right now.
Saying about me, I know that.
Don't tell me yet.
Saying about me, yeah.
So as long as it kind of like works out, then I'm definitely going to stay professionally involved in music for as long as possible. Yeah.
Cool. John, I don't know what to say. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me.
Listen, do you need to shout out anything that's coming? Some brand new releases? What projects you've got coming up in the springtime? Things that perhaps people should know about for the foreseeable future?
A lot of shows. I know that's really a bit of a general thing. A lot of shows, but I definitely would say that if you're unfamiliar with hard dance still, but you're interested, I think it's definitely worth visiting DEF CON in the last weekend of June this year, because, I mean, that's where it all happens. And then all my guys will be playing there and doing special shows, etc. I think it's been already announced. Yeah, otherwise you have a very great exclusive. Sub-Zero Project will be making the anthem, which is a big honor. Standard practice now for the just do it. So yeah, that's definitely something to if you're keen to have a look at what it's about. DEF CON 1 is like the Mecca of hardstyle. Yeah, and then always my number one favorite hardstyle. My favorite festival is always Tomorrowland, and we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff there too. And I think I can't really talk about that one yet. No. We'll keep the exclusive to Tomorrowland. Yeah. So yeah, that's not.
Debbie will be pissed off with moving to that.
It's like, oh shit. It's really people want to stay friends with. So definitely.
But we can say something about Brazil, perhaps.
Yeah.
Will you be there?
Yes.
Lovely. Fantastic.
Were you at the first one?
Yeah.
That was good. I was there too.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that we're going back.
I can't believe we're going back.
Yeah,
Can't
no,
believe
that's really
I've got my
exciting.
Duolingo ready to learn Portuguese.
But speaking of which, you need to pick a few dates because you're going to join our boys on tour.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, got another exclusive there.
Yeah.
Mr. Swagemakers, you're a star. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
so
indeed,
much,
sir.
mate.
Really a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon Swagemakers, join us again. This is... I'm forgetting the lines.
It's all right.
The Production House Podcast #1. Tell everybody. See ya. Bye-bye.
That's sweet.
Wicked. Love you, mate. Toppy.
Thanks, mate.
Fantastic.